Hello, fans of Starcraft from around the world. You are joining us here at the Nexon Arena for some fantastic Starcraft in Korea. We're here at the SSL. My name is Valdez, aka Spicy Salmon, with Wolf. How's it going?
Pretty good. I haven't got to cast you in a little while. You and I were both doing other games over there in Katowice, and now we're reunited back here in Korea at the Star League where we belong together. Not sure how I feel about your new nickname, Spicy Salmon, just yet.
I don't know if I've fully grown into it yet, but it was given to me by the gods of Twitch chat, so I don't know if I'll ever be able to get away from it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm just riding the wave for now.
Sure. It seems like one of those, like a sushi you would get at an American sushi restaurant. It's like not real sushi. Yeah. It's like a California roll or something like that, but there's a spicy salmon roll
California
at some point.
Roll, yeah.
It just seems like that. That's the vibe I get from it. But if you guys are tuning into Star League a bit late and you're not sure how this tournament is run, you guys can basically see a rundown of it here. It was initially actually going to be a single elimination tournament, but midway through the tournament, we decided to give some players an extra chance. So we have double elimination. Today we have two best of fives, our two losers matches here.
Yeah, it should be a short day, only two best of fives, but this will decide who is in the, I think it's round 5 of the losers bracket to decide who will face the winner of the winners bracket.
Yeah. Now, if you look at this bracket, it's Solar versus Dark in the finals of winners. This is the winners side of the bracket, so it's a winners decider. It's still a best of 7, however. Looking at the loser side of things, we're in round 4 of the losers bracket currently, and it's going to be ByuN versus Stats and Patience versus Ragnarok tonight. But if you lose here in this bracket, you're out of the tournament. So their tournament life is on the line. This court doesn't want to go behind me, Valdez. It's back there now.
I just leave it here. I welcome it into my life. It's just going to stick with me for the rest of the broadcast. But the winner of those two matches tonight will face against each other, and then they'll face the loser of the winners bracket. So because I said that wrong earlier, just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, I know we're not going to have this up on screen, but if you do come down to the studio, a lot of people actually tweet about this to me. You can come in for free. You don't need a ticket. You don't need a reservation. Like, if you really want to have the best seat possible, if you come about 30 minutes before, that'll probably be good. If you come an hour before, there's already a line there and stuff. You're going to have to wait in it. But it's not like waiting in that line actually gives you any benefit, because usually, I mean, we have so much room in here that you'll probably have space. So let's talk about these players a little bit here. ByuN, our Terran, the online Bonjour, winning every online tournament in the beta and in the early part of release, has fallen off a little bit, but this seems to be his tournament. He beat Alive 3-0, and Alive's TVT right now is pretty sick.
Yeah, it seems like maybe his TVZ isn't quite good. You know, he did lose to Ragnarok. Ragnarok was doing quite well, but since then, he 2-0'd Hurricane and 3-0'd Alive. So he is on a massive roll. And he is going to be facing off against Stats, a guy who has quite fantastic PvP, not the best PvZ from these win ratios here, but hasn't played against too many Terrans.
He lost to Keen in Pro League in his last PvT, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, Keen, one of my buddies from the old Wings of Liberty days, the old GSTL days, but I got to say, in recent times, especially in Heart of the Swarm, Keen's results have been pretty poor. So, you know, that may say something. I know it's only a best of 1, but Stats, let's see how well he does here. He's never made it past a round of 4 in a tournament before.
Yeah, and he is here at the losers round 4, so somewhat similar there. I think it's going to be a pretty close match. I would give the slight edge to ByuN, just looking at some of that, but I think it's definitely going to be close. We're going to look at this interview here, guys. We'll get that translated for you in just a bit.
안녕하세요.
네, 매번 자신감 없는 모습을 보여줬는데 오늘은 어때요?
네, 오늘도 역시 자신감 없어요.
자신감 없는 원인이 뭐라고 생각하세요?
뭐 일단 경기력이 이제 마음에 들지 않고 뭐 예전부터 항상 자신감이 없었기 때문에 오늘도 똑같이 자신감이 없어요.
네, 최후의 테란이에요, 이번 시즌. 어깨가 무거울 것 같은데 어때요?
아니, 전 근데 저한테 별로 기대하는 사람이 없다고 생각하기 때문에 별로 무겁지는 않고 그래도 자신이 없어요.
최후의 테란이라고 모두가 주목하고 응원해주고 계시잖아요.
네, 그렇긴 한데 최후의 테란이라고 해도 올라온 테란이 3명밖에 없었으니까 뭐 거기서 최후의 테란이라고 해도 제일 잘하는 것도 아니고 그냥 제가 운이 좋았다고 생각해요.
네, 자신감을 가지실 필요가 있을 것 같고요. 프로토스전 난이도가 세 종족 중 몇 번째라고 생각하세요?
아니, 다 똑같아요. 제가 뭐 제일 잘하는 종족 좀 높고 그냥 다 똑같은 것 같아요.
연습은 많이 했어요?
아니요, 연습 상대가 없어가지고 별로 하지는 못하고 좀 생각을 많이 했어요.
어떤 식으로?
아, 이건 말하면 안 돼요. 제 노하우이기 때문에.
네, 그러면 이번 상대 김대엽 선수한테 한마디 할게요.
아, 네, 저 별로 못하니까 좀 살살 해주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
안녕하세요, 김대엽 선수.
네, 안녕하세요.
오늘 컨디션은 어때요?
저희 팀이 어제까지 휴가였어가지고 충분히 푹 쉬면서 연습을 해서 오늘 컨디션은 좋은 것 같아요.
연습 때 테란전 승률 어땠어요?
솔직히 좀 이기고 지고 했는데 그래도 저그전 준비했을 때보다는 네, 훨씬 편하고 좀 승률 좋게 준비했던 것 같아요.
같은 팀에 전태환 선수 있는데 변현우 선수랑 비교했을 때 누가 더 잘하는 것 같아요?
일단은 변현우 선수의 이런 플레이 스타일을 아직까지 제가 직접 경험해보지 못해가지고 잘 모르겠고요. 오늘 경험해봐야 네, 어떤지 알 수 있을 것 같아요.
오늘 예상 스코어랑 그 이유를 말해주세요.
저는 3대 0으로 이기고 싶고 저도 0대 3으로 질 것 같은 이런 느낌인데 그래서 첫 번째 경기를 이기는 게 굉장히 중요할 것 같아요.
변현우 선수에게 한마디.
어떻게 계속 올라오셔가지고 저랑 만나게 됐는데 네, 죄송하게 됐지만 제가 올라가겠습니다.
감사합니다.
So, Wolf, we just had our two interviews there. The general feeling from the two players is that ByuN has zero confidence at all. He's like, no, I just don't have confidence. He said it like 3 times, and he's like, I don't have anyone to practice with, so I just thought about the matchup. And then I asked him about it. He's like, I can't tell you what I thought about. So maybe he'll come up with some weird, strange builds. And Stats was just like, well, why don't you tell him what
Stats was basically just like, well, I've been practicing a little bit, I'm winning a little bit, losing a little bit. Like, he basically didn't give any information except at the end he was like,
very vague.
Like, the matchup versus Terran was a little bit more comfortable for him versus the matchup against Zerg, which he was having a bit more trouble with, and that he expects to win 3-0 if he had to give a prediction. He didn't seem very confident in his interview, but then he dropped the 3-0, or he said he wanted to win 3-0. He was hoping to win 3-0 more than that he was going to, but
So, yeah, what I take from that is that ByuN is going to 3-0 him because whenever players are just like, oh, I don't have confidence, I think I'm going to lose, blah, 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 they wreck the other guy. I don't know why that is, but maybe he's going to play with more just in a more relaxed state or something like that.
Maybe he's hoping
Stats is kind of just like a little wishy-washy, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't get a good feeling from that interview.
Maybe he hopes Stats hears that, like, you know, I didn't really practice that much. And Stats like, sick, gonna be easy. Maybe
meanwhile, he's practicing with Hero or something. He's like, I'm gonna kill this guy.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I really actually want to give the edge to ByuN. Just like in some weird part of my brain, I'm like, I think he actually has the edge here. I mean, he surprised everyone. When he 3-0'd Alive, that was like crazy, absolutely unprecedented. Alive's TVT right now is so good. It's not like the best in the world, but it's really good. I think it's his best matchup.
Yeah,
and to beat Alive that way is pretty impressive.
Even if he's not best in the world, he's definitely top 5, I'd say, at this point, at least. I mean, he played a really fantastic game against TY, who's also fantastic in TVT. But then again, that is a different matchup. I'm really curious to see what we are going to see out of ByuN here in the TVP matchup. We saw him play against Hurricane before in the best of 3, and he did 2-0 him, so definitely has the ability, I'd say.
Yeah. First map is going to be Orbital Shipyard, by the way, guys, one of our 2-player maps. Get out there and spread the word about Star League. It's on both platforms, Ding It and YouTube, so get those links out there, get people in here, because ByuN, a huge fan favorite of the foreign fans especially, is playing tonight, and one of these 2 players, Stats, a player who's been playing since Brood War, a legend in Pro League, is now going up against ByuN. We're starting our very first game here on Orbital Shipyard.
So here we are in game number 1. As you mentioned, it's going to be Orbital Shipyard, and up in the top right in the red, the Terran player, it is ByuN.
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 ByuN. Just say his voice deeper and deeper. I'm not even attempting to read this. Down in the bottom left in blue, the Protoss player representing KT Rolster. It is Stats.
Stats.
What a cool little fan poster there. I believe that's what that was anyways.
Yeah.
I think it said there's an answer in your heart. They're
Something
really,
like that,
they're really
yeah.
trying to reach out to get him past that round of 4. Stats says, and I say this every time I commentate him in Star League, never won a Star League before, and no, the WECG qualifiers don't count, and that tournament never even happened.
No, that, yeah, that was just like basically exhibition matches that were broadcasted. It's like, hey, let's broadcast some practice. So you guys prepared for this. This is interesting. But yeah, basically didn't happen. And yeah, starting out on Orbital Shipyard, going to be a pretty nice Protoss map here to start the day. ByuN did have it as his second map, I think, second map choice. So definitely not scared of this map. And he said he was going to have a lot prepared in terms of builds he was thinking about. So would expect him to throw out something pretty interesting here in game number 1.
Yeah, I would expect so as well. You know, he said he didn't want to talk about what he was thinking about. His interview earlier seemed a bit sneaky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a little smirk on his face. He's like, oh, just no confidence. I don't know.
Yeah, I got the feeling like he definitely has something up his sleeve here, and he's shown us actually quite a few unique all-ins throughout this entire tournament, even from the beginning, doing strange marine pushes in TVZ. This Reaper Scout will come in here and see that nothing is out of the ordinary. He's going to send those probes flying in 4 different directions.
Yeah, they're going to delay that gas ever so slightly. And back at home, he is making a very, very fast 3rd CC in his main, so this is some of that sneakiness that we were talking about, already starting to get a big advantage, or trying to get a big advantage by getting that 3rd CC out here. He's going to add a 2nd Rax for safety.
Yeah, I'm worried about what Stats may have up his sleeve here, though, with the fast Twilight Council coming with his Robo. He may just try to get Resonating Glaives with the Warp Prism and do a big attack, and that would mean, of course, ByuN with that risky 3rd CC is going to be a little bit vulnerable. You know, he's almost taken a page from his old teammate Marine King's book here with this early CC, and Marine King loved to do stuff like this. Marine King was the best player at the world at doing this and holding all-ins, and we'll see what he's going to do. Oh, wow, I did not expect this.
Yeah, this is like the Zest build. We saw Zest do this a lot on this map earlier against Terrans. You get a DT out, you pressure with the DT and the Warp Prism, you add a bunch of gates, you can drop Adepts as well, but at the same time you're getting a 3rd base. Gives you a lot of space out on the map, a lot of map control, keeps the Terran in his base. But if ByuN can identify this and defend it, he's going to be in a pretty nice spot, but he has to do that first.
Look at this greed on both sides. I mean, yes, ByuN is being greedy, so Stats is safe, but he's got 1 Adept with this massive rush to attack. With the Warp Prism now heading out, it will line up, actually, with that Dark Shrine very well. But look at this safety turret coming up here for ByuN. He knows the possibility of this. He's prepared very well. This doesn't necessarily mean that Stats isn't going to do damage here, but it's a good prep that he's put into this, and Stats will have some flexibility to take his 3rd base, but let's see how well this drop does. Oh!
Is the Reaper going to get in? The Probe's trying to stop him, and they don't!
1 health left. What's up? Saw your Dark Shrine.
Yeah, and now he's going to add another missile turret. He already had one in his back door, so he was going to be very prepared, but now he's going to be even that much more prepared. You can see Stats immediately throws down a 3rd Nexus here in hopes of catching up, even though it did get scouted. He's going to try to send 1 DT at the front and 2 in the back.
Just having turrets isn't alone enough. You will have to split your Marines and defend with them, so he's going to bring the attention up here. There's very few Marines back here, actually. If the DTs just attack the Marines, they could probably could have killed them there.
Yeah, only about 4 Marines there, but
he's just trying to find an angle here where there's no turret to get damage done.
Run SCV! Wow, SCV actually survived.
So I learned something about worker movement speed today.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the first DT. It does expend a scan.
Yeah.
Don't forget that Stats back at home, like you mentioned, it gets a lot of safety from this. He can have that 3rd base with no problem.
Yeah, there is that one angle that Stats may try to drop in the DT. Oh no, he's trying to go in the back door. We aren't really seeing this at the moment, but this is the angle I'm talking about. He's going to force another scan here possibly if he gets to work on this reactor because, oh wow, he forces a scan and he lifts it. Really nice play there by Stats.
Very, very greedy play, but it does start to add up. I think, personally, something that not everyone likes to talk about is that DT drops sometimes can be more valuable if they kill a lot of units rather than workers in this matchup because of the way mules work.
Do people not like to talk about that?
People don't like to talk about that, man. They're like,
is that like a family secret or something?
Well,
like, we don't talk about our alcoholic uncle. You don't like to talk about
people don't like to talk about it, man. They're like, nah, man, it's all about the workers. Let's not touch those Marines.
Ooh.
Because things like this happen. That's why we don't talk about it, Valdez.
Yeah.
You try to harass them.
Yeah.
You try to harass a Marine or two, and then this happens.
Try to talk about it, you get slapped in the face by your aunt. So that's what happens. And now we're in a really interesting spot in this game because Stats did take that third base, but we have a massive bio army right now that it doesn't have that many medevacs, but ByuN did have a lot of barracks very early on, and he does have the stim and +1 too. So if he knew, you know, just how vulnerable Stats was right now with not much tech besides Blink and a bunch of stalkers, he could do some pretty nice damage, and I think he is going to move out here.
Yeah, I think you're right. Resident Enclave's only just now started, mind you, so it's absolutely not going to be ready for this push. And that's why, you know, he has basically chosen to go for a Stalker-heavy army, but there's so many Marauders in this mix. ByuN had so much extra money from all the mules he was dropping. Normally when you see a push come across a map like this, it's got like 3 or 4 Marauders in it. This one has like 9 or so in there. I couldn't count them that quickly, but there's a lot of them in this army. Okay, he's just going to blink forward.
He
Oh,
blinks
no.
forward. Oh, boy. And a stim forward, and all these units are going to get decimated here. All ByuN has to do is micro forward and kill these units, and that's about it.
Oh, look at this. He's just going to stim up here. He doesn't care at all. And this is just, I mean, Blink Stalkers don't counter this comp. He's got too many Marauders. Only 2 medevacs, and that's plenty enough here. Even warping in to try to defend, it's going to be useless. One Immortal comes down the ramp, and this is going to be a dead third base, Valdez.
Yeah, very late overcharge as well on that one pylon. Overcharge on this other pylon on the top of the ramp is not going to be enough. ByuN is getting so much damage done here. 10 probes have gone down. He does miss that Immortal, but there he does grab it. He's just killing so many units, so many workers as well at the third base, and all back at home, he's totally safe to macro up.
Yeah, I mean, he's making more medevacs. He saves 2 of these, just sends them home, and I think the choice to actually attack the workers there is not even a bad one instead of the Nexus. It allowed him to also harass the units that were coming down. He wasn't committing his DPS to one or another. We do see one DT does come over here to the third base, but he's going to send a few units over and stim and may take it out, not quite. But yeah, I mean, this is just simply Stats, I guess, trying to blink to cross the map faster without vision. That was just a mistake there.
We saw Stats using a lot of Blink Stalkers in PvP on this map. Loves to abuse the 2 giant lanes and the massive amount of space in the middle of the map, but you can see he's just not going to have enough here against the follow-up. Now Widow Mines are added in here. Combat Shields is done. +1 armor is finishing up. There's just nothing here for Stats.
Safety scan going down as well just to make sure no DDs can come over here and surprise him. A few High Templar are going to try to feed back these medevacs, but this is a feeble attempt of Stats to defend, and ByuN will take a convincing game 1. After this greedy play by both players, he ends up ahead with a better army. GG.
There you go, ByuN taking game number 1. Seems like our feelings about ByuN's situation right now are correct. He's looking quite good.
Oh man, he always got the shaky hands though. When ByuN says he's nervous and he's unconfident, I feel like sometimes he's tricking us a little bit, sometimes he's teasing us, but there's no doubt that after ByuN wins, he feels the tension. You can see it in him. You see him on his interviews. Sometimes his interviews, he like doesn't even answer questions. He's too nervous to speak. He's quite an interesting player and one of my favorite StarCraft players of all time because he's never given up. He's been around since the beginning of StarCraft 2, like since its birth. He's been playing since the beta of Wings of Liberty, and he's here now in Legacy of the Void, the final expansion. You know, rumor has it he has health problems. You know, he wasn't playing for a while. He didn't go to Home Story Cup. Everyone's wondering about it. But you know what? He's here. He's in the booth. He's beating now Stats 1-0, one of the best Protosses in the world, the most successful Pro League players. This is a story.
Yeah, it really is, and he put on a fantastic performance there.